look good. Oh, great, the Winter Soldier. For a guy named Knuckles, you are really bad at punching.
You're no match for me. I've been training for this my entire life.
And I have no training at all, yet here I am ahead of you. That's gotta be embarrassing. Ah!
Sonic has been in so many different forms of media, from games, TV shows, all kinds of other stuff. When you were taking on this role, where did you look for like your inspiration and like as far as like his past performances as a character?
Sure. So one of the things I did was I didn't watch any of the TV shows. I didn't want to steal from anybody. I know Jason's there. I know Craig. I know Jaleel. I know all these incredible voiceover artists have like basically, birthed that version of Sonic out into the world, but I made sure not to listen to any of that because I wanted it to never feel like I was copying someone. So what I did is I took it from the script itself. And when I read the script, to me, Sonic felt like this kid, this like really energetic kid. And at the time, he didn't have any friends to share all this energy and all this jokes with. So I felt like he starts off with this lonely kid. He finally finds Tom, which is James Marsden's character, and he's using that as an outlet to like have a friend finally and connect. So for me, I didn't really look at the other performances, but I took it from the movie script because I didn't want to feel like I was copying anything. But in my head, I was like, I want him to have heart, I want him to be excited, I want him to feel like a kid, and I want him to be funny. I want him to deflate any situation that feels too big for him with the joke, because that's basically how he's been through a lot of stuff. So that's how he's kind of lived his life.
And James, you've been in so many great roles all throughout your career. How does acting alongside a virtual character as your co-star differ from working in like your other roles?
I mean, I've worked with opposite actors where the animated hedgehog who's not there is more animated than the person I'm acting opposite. That's, first of all, a very nice thing for you to say. But yeah, it's a different skill set for sure. You're on set and you're sitting in a rowboat having a heart-to-heart with your son, and he's not there. It's just a voice from behind the camera somewhere. So it takes a little bit of your imagination and thinking about what Ben Schwartz is going to be doing with the performance, and hearing his voice and how animated and energetic he is and how brilliant he is at portraying this character, and sort of bringing that into your head when you're there on the day and then there's a friend of ours, Scott Patey, brilliant local comedian actor who's in Vancouver, reading Ben's lines off camera, which is a huge help because then you can actually get the scene up on its feet and feel the rhythm of the whole thing.
Sure. And I know that, Ben, you are actually a longtime Sonic fan. Do you have any scenes from the Sonic games or Sonic movie you would love to see translate to live action?
Oh my goodness, in Sonic 2, those casino zones are pretty amazing, but also there's this zone in Sonic Mania. I guess it wouldn't make sense because we're a film. In Sonic Mania, there's an incredible zone that's like all about movies and like zapping you from a TV to a different TV. And I was blown away by how amazing all that stuff was. So if you look at, I'm a big side scroller guy just because that's kind of what I came up with. So Sonic 2 has so many things that I would love to put in there. Sonic Mania, which I just beat, has a very similar fun vibe. But you'll be, for people who are fans, like the mannerisms, say it.
You're having a mannerism.
What is it? Mannerisms of Sonic, when he's sliding down water, when he's underneath water, like all these references that if you're a video game person and you read your magazine, you will be so rewarded by so many different things. And if you don't, you're able to, get on board and learn about all these things the first time through our movies.
Your first appearance as Tails in the films, at least, clearly you've done it a lot in other mediums, but your first appearance as Tails in the film happened as like a post-credits scene that a lot of people were not quite expecting. How did that come across to you? Like, were you like, all right, this is just a cool little Easter egg for fans, nothing will ever really come of it? Or were you expecting it to kind of blossom into something much bigger?
No, definitely the first one. I had no idea where this would go. I had no idea how excited people would be to see it. People sent me videos of their theaters exploding in joy. And I was like, what is happening? I knew people liked Tails, but I had no concept of how that reaction was going to go.
And speaking of reactions, what was your first reaction to being invited to join this cast of characters in the movies?
Disbelief, excitement, joy. I felt like I was in a, crazy dream that, what, really? I'm just so excited, over the moon.
And can you dive into a little bit about like what are the differences in voicing Tails for a game versus voicing for a TV show versus voicing for a major Hollywood blockbuster such as this?
Yeah, it's a great question because they are all so different. So for a game, you're there by yourself and you have, this list of lines it's just a whole Tails section of the script and it's all him. And there's not a lot of dialogue depending on the game. Most of the time it's just call outs or just one-liners here and there. And it's just boom, 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 boom. Working on the series, I got to work with the whole cast and we had a group record, which was hilarious. And we laughed our faces off and it was just way too much fun. So that was very different. And now jumping into the movie, it's the scope is so much bigger. The performances are so much more grounded because you also have live action to balance out the animation. And it's just thrilling to be able to work in all three as the same character has just been phenomenal, truly.
And did you get to interact closely with any of the rest of the cast in the movie?
Unfortunately, not closely. I did get to do a couple of scenes with Ben. We had a couple of sessions, not in person because of COVID. Everybody's on a screen somewhere. And I did get to go into Paramount, but by myself. Still people on screens, but it was great to have that interaction with Ben because to be able to bounce things off of your fellow actors it's just, that's a dreamy way to work.
How would you describe this version of Tails versus the other versions that you've voiced?
I think I would describe him as, he's more grounded. He's a little more timid in the beginning. You definitely see some character growth throughout the film. And we're just meeting him in a different space. We're meeting him at the beginning of a relationship with Sonic as opposed to a relationship that's already been established.
Without spoiling anything, was there a line that you were like, oh, this is so awesome, I get to say this in like a major Hollywood movie?
Oh, so many. There are a few like, only Sonic the Hedgehog. Do. There were like 3 or 4 of those that were fantastic.
I guess what lessons did you learn from that first movie that you carried into the making of Sonic the Hedgehog 2?
I think that nothing is more important than heart. I think that first movie had a lot of heart. I think the audiences really responded to Sonic as a character. That sort of very relatable, very grounded, emotional story of a kid just needing to find a friend. So I think as we set out to plot a much bigger sequel and have a lot more fun with bringing in more characters, just not to lose sight of really what's most important is that you're invested in the characters, that you understand what they're going through, and then you're just rooting for them.
And you mentioned something very key to this sequel just now, which is the introduction of new characters, most notably Tails and Knuckles. What type of source material did you consult with in order to make sure you're portraying these characters in a way that fans will appreciate?
Well, just a little bit of everything. I mean, that's what's so great. I mean, Sonic has been around for 30 years. Both of these characters, Tails and Knuckles, have been around almost as long. So there's so much material out there. But I think a lot of the inspiration really just went back to their first origins. I mean, you look at Knuckles and it's a really great sort of story, sort of Robotnik tricking him into thinking that Sonic is his enemy, his adversary. And that just felt like the perfect way to introduce him into our sort of movie timeline, because it's just being extremely faithful to what fans know and love about the character, and just really great, makes for a great movie. Just seeing these two characters, super speed, super strength, going at it head to head. I mean, it got us all very excited.
And bringing in actors like Colleen O'Shaughnessy and Idris Elba to fill those roles, what did that mean for the movie?
Oh, I mean, just equal parts sort of authenticity, which is bringing in Colleen, who, of course, we used at the end of the first Sonic film and teased Tails. Just her voice is such a perfect fit for the character. She knows that little fox inside and out. She's been voicing him for so long. So that was such an obvious choice. And then the other side of it, though, was doing something new and bringing in Idris Elba to voice Knuckles. And could not be more excited about fans getting to see what we've done with Knuckles as a character. Idris is such an amazing actor. He had such a great time voicing Knuckles, and I just think fans are absolutely go nuts with what he's done with him.
And what were your lines of communication like with Sega in order to make sure that you're treating these characters with respect as you continue to introduce more and more characters into this universe?
We've got such a great line of communication with everyone over there, going back to the first film, and just they're really great partners. Obviously, they know that that they make video games and we make movies, but there's so much crossover and nobody knows their characters better than they do. So we're always checking in with them whenever we have a question about something or just want to pitch an idea of maybe doing something a little bit differently, maybe than how it was treated, just to make sure that they're on board for it, to advise us, to sort of guide us. But yeah, they really are wonderful partners.
And there are so many great Easter eggs and moments of inspiration from the games. Were there anything, like any specific sequences in the games you were really like, all right, I really want to like portray this on screen and pay homage to this amazing moment?
Definitely the Tails flying the tornado, delivering Sonic into battle on the biplane. I mean, it's such an iconic image from Sonic 2, of course. To be able to do the big screen, the cinematic version of that, it gave all of us sort of goosebumps and got us so excited. And just knowing that when fans saw that that's where we were going, that kind of was the type of imagery that we were going to be bringing into the sequel, we just knew that everyone would just get so excited.